Um, Using, kind of holding your piece with one hand and then pouring the slurry on it with the other hand. This is a good time to talk about groups and collaborative effort. Number one, it's nice to pair up or have 3 people or 4 people. Number one person can hold the pieces, the other person can pour on. That makes it a little bit easier. And number 2, let's say you're coordinating with somebody else and you guys are on step number 3. Maybe Cadence can come in and do step number 4, and then Jalen comes in and does step number 5. For 2 people. That way you can really maximize each other's time. That way, if somebody's more of a morning person or afternoon or evening person, you can coordinate. But even just the single steps, it might help for the first step or 2. Once you've gotten through a couple of the steps, I found that the shell is strong enough to then be able to withstand it being dipped. And it's going to start being heavier and harder to hold on to while you're pouring the shell, the slurry on it. So at that point, you can start thinking about dipping it. But I would recommend not doing that for the first couple. Just until that shell starts to build up on your piece and give it some strength. Don't add that extra pressure. Any questions about that? Okay. So with this, because it doesn't have connections engaged in it, and it's pretty small and thick, I could just dip it right in here. But I'm going to show you guys both. You guys can come closer if you want to see it. I mean, it's pretty obvious what's going to happen. So yeah, I can dip it like that and it can drip off, or I can do like this number, and it's going to float. You guys just might sink a little bit. It's not the end of the world. If it sinks, you can go in and get it. So what's going to happen here is I'm just going to let some of the excess drip off. But at some point, I just have to come in and go put it on the shelf. Probably tip this one upside down at first. And now from here, try to be mindful of the slurry. It's expensive, so try to get as much off of your gloves or hands at first, and then go to the wash bucket. The ceramic shell slurry isn't as detrimental as plaster going down the sink. Because plaster, once you add water to it, a chemical reaction happens and it starts to become a solid. This is a little different. It will break down with water. From here, you still want to go to the rinse bucket, don't get me wrong. We don't really want this stuff down the sink, but if there's a little bit left over, some residual ceramic shell on your glove, it's okay if it goes down the sink. It's not as bad as plaster. But that said, try your best to get the majority of it off. So, yeah, on that note. Well, yeah. If that was your only step, and there wasn't anybody behind you, this cup, don't leave it in there. It's going to sink. We're going to forget about it. We're going to put the paddle mixer in there, and it's just going to destroy the thing. And also, there's going to be plastic chunks in there that has happened. Little cups that have just been exploded in the ceramic shell. It's kind of a pain in the butt. So try to remember to take that little cup, take it to a wash bucket, drip the excess off, take it to the wash bucket, rinse it out, clean it out, get it ready for the next person. Any questions about that? Okay, so that's step number 1. You go through the alcohol degreasing, which only happens once. Let it completely dry and evaporate off. Then you go into the slurry for a complete, just one dip / pour of the ceramic shell, and then it goes to the drying rack. Inevitably, these are going to start to fill up, and they're going to drip on each other, and that's okay. It's going to happen. It's all the same stuff. It's okay if somebody else's piece is dripping on your piece. It's not the end of the world. It's something that you're going to have to do. Pass this around and kind of look at it. If you're going to take one of these little water cups, you want to start a pour cup for your piece. You want it to go through all the steps. You don't have to decrease it, and it won't go through step number 6 next week. But you want to go through all the steps. Thank you. So what I'm doing is I'm just pushing the cup all the way down into the slurry, but not so much that it gets down on the inside of the cup. Try your best to not do that. And the reason I say that is when I go to cut the cup out of there, it's so much easier to get the cup out if it doesn't have a bunch of slurry on the inside of this cup. You just want the slurry on the outside of the cup. Okay. So here, again, excess dripped off. You bring your cup over and set it near your piece. I might, at some point, start dipping a couple of extra cups. It's nice to have extras, just in case, because we can keep this indefinitely for quarters down the road. It's just a shelf. It's fine the way it is for forever. We've had some of these for years. We go to use them when somebody has forgotten to dip their cup. Like, oh no, I don't have a quart cup. No, I've got some extras, no worries. But something real quick to show you guys, as you're passing around the cup, these look very different, right? Okay. It's not that the student did anything wrong between these two, but if your piece or cup starts to look like this, it means that the slurry is way too thick, and you're doing it right, and it's going to be fine, but it's wasting the slurry, right? Because this slurry can go further at the right consistency than this. And so what this means is that we just didn't add the colloidal silicate and thin it out as it's starting to dry out. So it probably won't happen because I'm going to be keeping an eye on this. Emma, who's in Sculpture 4, she's going to be keeping an eye on this. Maya will as well because she's doing dippings. But just so you know, the slurry can be too thick and it can be too thin. And this is kind of what it looks like. These will pour just fine, but it's better to save the slurry. So after all 10 steps, this is what it's going to look like. Your last dip, step number 10 is just slurry. It's going to seal all the bits of ceramic shell stucco, kind of all together and make it more transportable. And that's what it's going to look like. Maya is at step number 6, I think. So she's gone through, I'm not going to pass this one around, but she's gone through 1 through 5. So she went stucco number 1 twice, then stucco number 2 twice. She's ready for step number 6, which is refractory cement. We'll talk about that next week. And then she's going to move on to the even thicker stucco. So what we do is we go through a fine, medium, and coarse stucco. And the summary of steps is right here. If you guys want to pass this around as well, it's all going to be up here, so you don't have to worry. It's not like you have to necessarily write all these steps down. It's going to be posted. The sheets aren't going to. But like I said, step number 1 for people today and over the weekend, if we want to get into steps number 2 and 3, that's totally fine. I'm going to do step number 2 right now for you guys, but I want to make sure everybody's good with step number 1. Any questions there? Let's pause for a second.